Hey, it's Rob, and welcome to Axel's Garage. Well, what happened to our 2023 Maverick? That's what this is all about. And our Maverick is just out of the shot off to the side over here. And I will show you what it looks like after 30 months and 60,000 miles. I promise, just humor me for a couple minutes. Don't cheat and go ahead. Just give you a little recap for a couple of minutes on what's going on with the Maverick. So back in 21, I guess it was, there was the whole internet craze about the Mavericks, the first real small pickup, even though it was a unibody and it wasn't a true, on-frame pickup. And we tried to get in on the ordering for the first year Maverick, which was a 22, but we missed the window. It was a short window, and they wound up taking, I guess it was 40 or 50,000 more orders than they could fill. So we got online, not online, but we got our place in line to order a 23 Maverick, and we had to wait because the people that had 22 Mavericks on order that never got them had to order first, and then we could order. And then when we were online with our local dealership, they called me up and they said, you can order. I said, I made an appointment to go in. Then they called me a day or two later and said, the ordering window is closing tonight. So I had to run down there and order. And what happened was, it was only like, if you wanted a hybrid, it was only, the ordering window was only available for a couple days. But if you wanted an EcoBoost gas engine, you can, it went about a week only to order a 23 Maverick. So we went down there and we ordered the Maverick. Now, we really didn't have any intention on buying the Maverick. We just wanted to see how difficult it would be to get it the way we wanted it. And we thought it would be a great way to make some content for the channel, and it was. So we went in to order it, and my salesman at my local dealership didn't know. He was the truck salesman who was assigned to sell the Mavericks, so he didn't know a ton about the Mavericks. My online research in all the different Maverick forums that there were and just different websites yielded me a lot more knowledge in what you could get and what you couldn't get when we sat down and ordered it. So we ordered a nicely equipped, Maverick. We didn't want it to be too expensive because that defeated the whole purpose of getting the Maverick. We didn't really have any anticipation of going through with the sale. We were going to wait for it to come in and then get our $1,000 deposit back. But we ordered it as if we were going to get it and it was what we wanted in it. And it was, like I said, nicely equipped. So we went with the XLT, the middle of the road, model, not the XL, not the Lariat, the XLT. We added the sunroof because my wife likes the sunroof. We added the black appearance package because I like that. And then we added the luxury package, I think, had to be added in with the black appearance package. And that was pretty much it. Out the door, it was taxes, fees, all that other crap. It was under $35,000. Well, it came in about 8 months, and one of the big issues when we were ordering it was the salesman was trying to talk me out of getting the automatic start on the key fob. He said, oh, you don't need that, there's an app for that. And I said, well, is that app free? And he said, yeah, the app is free. Of course it's free. You can just go on your phone. Well, number one, I hate having to have an app to do something. I just want to be able to do it. I don't want to go to a restaurant and have to scan a QR code to get their menu. Give me a menu. I don't want to have my phone to do my normal tasks throughout life. Yeah, we're dependent on the phones, but it's getting ridiculous. And then I said to the guy, I go, what happens in a couple of years if Ford decides that they're going to start charging for the app? Now I got to pay to have automatic start. I want it on the key fob. And the problem with it on the key fob, which they knew, was during that time, during the, that was going on back in 22, the tail end of it, what was going on? It was a chip shortage. And the chip for the automatic start and the key fob was one of the issues that was making the vehicles not come in a timely fashion or ever come in because they had this chip shortage going on. So I insisted. I wanted it on the key fob. I knew that could be the thing that would never make the vehicle come in or make it come in, after a year or so. But as it turns out, 8 months later, they called and said, your vehicle's on the truck, it'll be here in a couple days. And when I got that call, we were about 6 hours away from home on a 12-hour trip in our Suburban, and we had just lost the transmission in the Suburban. So we were in the process of renting a car and finding a place to stash the Suburban 6 hours away from home where we could retrieve it at some other date. And I was like, it was an omen, a car that we weren't expecting to get, we're going to get now because we're having some mechanical breakdowns in our older road trip vehicles, which was Ginger, the 2003 Suburban that we were using for the road trips. So we wound up buying the Maverick. It came in, we bought it, weren't sure if we were going to like it or not. It's a lot smaller. We're used to driving Suburbans on our road trips, and now we have this Maverick. So we start using it around town. My wife uses it to run to work. She only works a mile away from home. I've been using it to go to work. I only work a mile away from home, and it was a nice, easy, small vehicle. And the bed on the smaller side, but surprisingly, you could load it up pretty good. And comparing the Maverick to the Ranger, which is something that would be more along the size that we thought we'd need, the Ranger seems smaller inside, the interior. The interior of the Maverick we really liked. We felt it was comfortable. It was a nice vehicle to drive. The bed was big enough for what we really needed. We've had full-size pickup trucks in the past. Matter of fact, prior to the Maverick, for about 6 years, we had 2 different Ram pickup trucks on leases, and we liked them, but we never really used the truck aspect of it. In the Suburbans, we would just load them up with stuff when we'd go visit the kids. So we start using the Maverick to do that, and we find that we're getting great mileage. We're averaging anywhere from 37 to 41 in the summertime, and then a little less, about 5 miles to the gallon less in the winter when the batteries don't run as efficiently in the hybrid. And going to see the kids, we could still load the bed of this Maverick up with the bed cover, maybe put some extra stuff in the back seat if we have to. And for my wife and I, it's a no-brainer. It's an easy drive. It's a comfortable drive. It's really comfortable to drive, and it just worked out for what we really needed. And that's what a lot of people don't take into consideration. What do you really need? Do you really need that big truck? Are you really loading that big truck all the way? It's nice to have a big truck as a backup if you need to, and that's what we had. We wound up fixing that Suburban, get a new transmission in it, and now when we have to really load something up, pull a trailer, or really take a lot of stuff somewhere, we take that Suburban. But for the most part, whenever we can use the Maverick, we use the Maverick, and we absolutely love it. So fast forward, we're doing that for 30 months, going visiting the kids. We have kids in the Carolinas, Georgia, Tennessee, all over the place. We racked up 60,000 miles in 2.5 years. So all we ever did to it was bring it into the dealer for tire rotations and oil changes, and there was a couple of little recalls that might have popped up or software updates, and I think the recalls were even software updates as well. So nothing mechanical. It ran flawlessly. At 60,000 miles, however, the brakes were still like brand new because of the hybrid and how good the regenerative braking is in the hybrid. If you're not slamming on that brake pedal, and even if you have a wife that drives, you know how they like to slam on the brake pedal, at 60,000 miles, the brakes still looked like new. However, the tires, now remember, in 23, you couldn't get an all-wheel drive or a four-wheel drive hybrid Maverick. You could only get the front-wheel drive, which is what we had, and it came with real highway tread style tires, absolute, just straight grooves in the tires, and they lasted. But at 60,000 miles, we needed tires, and we also, the only other little glitchy thing was, now we're 2.5 years in, and we were starting to notice a little bit of trouble with the starting battery, not the hybrid batteries, the starting battery, which is located under the rear seat. In extreme cold and extreme hot, sometimes the battery voltage would get a little low. Not enough to leave you stranded. Car always started, but you would get a warning on the app that your battery voltage was low, and it would disable some features. So on the app, it would disable automatic start and to automatic lock and unlock the doors. When you use the vehicle and it knew that it was in battery saver mode because the starting battery's voltage was a little low, it would not illuminate the courtesy lights inside the vehicle when you open the door, and it would not leave the headlights on as long when you get out of the car and park it. And that's because it was in its own self-preservation mode. And that would go away once you started driving. After a day or two, that would just go away. And like I said, it only happened in extreme cold and extreme heat. So now at 60,000 miles in 30 months, what did we need? We needed a set of tires, and we needed a new starting battery, which, if anybody's done some tire shopping recently, you know tires are costly. So you're looking at, over $1,000 for a set of tires, and you're looking at a couple $100 for a new battery. Batteries have gone up tremendously, and the quality's gone down, to be honest. And tires have just gone up tremendously, and they're about the same. They're tires, but tire prices have just gone through the roof. So now we're looking to spend in, say, $1,500 on the Maverick, which after 30 months and 60,000 miles isn't that big of a deal. But then something happened, and this is going to be the last video for our 2023 Maverick. I hate to say it, and I'm going to show you the car now, and we're done with the 23 Maverick. Jose Monkey, can you find me? Well, here you go. Our 23 Maverick turned into a 25 Maverick. And now we are the owners of a 25 Maverick. And if you want the rest of that story, you'll have to stay tuned for the next video and the first video on our 2025 Ford Maverick. Thanks for watching.